Hello everyone. Uh, so today I'm just going to share with you a little of my build project that unfortunately didn't really take off. So I play around with the always critical combo using the new unique Sandstorm Visage with Trepannon, and I also use Marilyn's Fallacy. This combination gives us actually just Trepannon and Sandstorm Visage gives us 100% critical strike chance. And I just wanted to play with. Actually, originally I wanted to play with Val's Storm Call, but when I remember Storm Call having a base duration of 1.5 second, I changed around the plan and the instead decided to play Shock Nova instead. So with Shock Nova as the base, I tried to uh, inflict 100% shock to utilize the skills in the previous that was introduced in the previous patch, which is where is it? Galvanic Field, which uh, gains more damage per hits per shock effect. So this build essentially applies maximum shock to the enemy and then uses Galvanic Field as a supporting DPS skill during bossing. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite get this build to how to say feel good. The DPS itself is fine, but there's a problem with mapping because it uses intensify for the for the AOE
I must have time to gather
for
my
the
will.
damage. The AOE suffers a lot. So as you can see here, at 0 stacks of intensify, the AOE is quite large. But as the AOE as the intensity increases, so does the AOE decreases, and it feels quite bad during mapping. I uses the unique intensity jewel apex mode, which allows us to maintain intensity because I wanted to have the damage. But unfortunately, that makes my mapping suffers. I could swap out with the other jewel that caused me to lose intensity during mapping, but that makes it hard when I uh, meet tankier mobs and I want to dish out more damage. So yeah, I couldn't quite get this build to feel as good as I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to share with you what I did with it, just give you a rough idea. And I don't know, maybe somebody could take my idea and improve on it. So basically, I'm using Shock Nova. We're using Anomalous version, which allows us to shock as if dealing 100% more damage. This allows us to not take uh, what's the Elementalist to apply shock because this gem alone can give us that ailment efficiency ailment effect, and we uses galvanic field as a supporting skill during mapping and bossing, and then we're using mind over matter and eldritch battery as our sources of mana and also some effective hit pool, and lightning mastery maximum effect to shock. So using shock nova we can we can actually apply 10% maximum shock from shock nova and also another 15%, so we can actually apply up to 75% shock effect, and our galvanic field would benefit from that. And what else, what other interaction that we're using? Okay, a non-projectile chaining skill because this allows our galvanic field to chain off hydrosphere when it's summoned, but unfortunately hydrosphere has been nerfed, so you can only be hit once every 1 second. So unfortunately I couldn't get that interaction is nerf a little bit for my idea, and also using uh, zealotry with divine blessing, uh, so that it lasts 20 seconds because we have a lot of mana from eldritch battery as energy shield, so doesn't have much issue to maintain that. And also I guess another reason why it doesn't feel quite as good is because the nerf to Inquisitor, where it no longer have increased effect of consecrated ground on you, so to Pious Path. So the life and mana region is not as good. It's also somehow doesn't feel as tanky. I don't know why. Uh, my defense is actually quite okay. I'm getting 40,000 armor, but unfortunately, uh, it only has that because we're running standard resistance, maximum resistance cap, and the Eldritch Battery plus Mind over Matter is only on a 1000 ish mana pool and energy shield pool, so doesn't feel all that. Then we're using Astral Projector. This allows us to change our vortex that instant cast on our left mouse
I
button
must
to
have
actually
time
target
to gather
the
my
ground
will.
where you wanted it to. So our Algo Mortis allows us to uh, buff the damage as enemies inside the chilling area much more easily compared to when we're not using Astral Projector, where it only explodes on the ground where we're running. So it doesn't do much. It's not as helpful during mapping. So Astral Projector helps with that, and also change our Shock Nova into a targeted spell rather than to simply be around us. And yeah, I think it's also a little bit too unique dependent. So maybe that's the reason why it doesn't feel as good. And you require two six link, and one of them is in Tripanon, but you need blue socket. So it was quite hard to build up the socket color and everything. And what else? What else is the build using? Using Enduring Composure to gain endurance charge, which is then converted to brutal charges with our belt. Some lightning ailment effects all around the skill tree, like here, and also yeah, some here, here. The build can actually reliably shock, but yeah, here's my POV. So this is the POV of the character. As you can see, with our shock nova, we have 3.16 percent ailment increased ailment effect for shock, and also 100% more from shock nova right here. So this actually allows us even to shock pinnacle bosses up to the 75% maximum. But still, the DPS is fine actually at 10,000 total. Shock Nova actually has an effect uh, where it can hit multiple enemy because you have a ring and a larger Nova effect, and those two can actually overlap. If you can see right here, I'll show you. It's the one in the middle is one effect, and the one at the outermost is another effect, and the one in between is the overlap part. And with intensity, you can actually reliably aim the overlap onto the enemy or bosses. But it doesn't feel good during mapping because of the lack of AOE. If we remove the the unique jewel that allows us to gain intensity, we have decent enough AOE for mapping. It's just that I it becomes hard to gain intensity, and during bossing where you require that intensity gain to be good enough, that's where you're lacking. And I don't want to have my build swapping around unique jewels. So yeah, I guess that's why I think the build didn't really take off for me. So I think that's about it with the build. I'm just sharing with you what I tried, and basically I would consider this build a total failure. It's just that it didn't it didn't reach the level that I'm satisfied with. So yeah, I think basically that's about it. I mean it has decent enough defenses, decent enough DPS for pinnacle bosses. but it was quite hard to build actually. I mean, it doesn't feel as good when I'm playing, and there's a lot of how to say, there's a lot of factors that I need to take into consideration. So I guess that's why building the character wasn't fun, and playing also wasn't as fun compared to my glacial hammer that I league started. But I do like, at least I tested the interaction between the Sandstorm Visage and Serpent. So I guess there's that. Okay, I guess that's all. Maybe I'll share with you the gameplay video also, so that you can have a look see on how I actually played it. Thank you very much. Bye.
My mana is spent. All he feels is intense, unstoppable.
Maven, the challenge begins. Your champion will fall.
Ready yourself, my champion. I cannot aid you in this battle.
Simulacrum. Solar Storm. How unexpected.
Or at least, until the others arrive to challenge me for the...
Distasteful! Loathsome! Sloth! My only consolation is that I am not alone in this torture.